Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Urban Entrepreneur Show. I'm Anna Banks, your host. And tonight, we're going to be talking about unlocking leadership excellence, insights from a veteran coach. And we have the privilege of talking this evening with Dennis LaRue. He is the owner of LDR, and he has a very rich background spanning over 23 years in the U.S. Air Force. And he also has a passion for coaching and leadership development, always about, working with people. And so Dennis brings a wealth of experience to the table. And so, perk up your ears, get out your pen and pencil, and maybe we do our computers and our laptops and whatnot now. I'm dating myself, Dennis.
I'm old school. I got my pen right here.
But let's join us in looking at how innovative coaching methodologies and profound insights, help Dennis to help his clients achieve leadership excellence. So welcome to the Urban Entrepreneur Show, Dennis.
Anna, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to interact with you, to share my story, and thank you for that great introduction. I appreciate that. I hope this is recorded, so I can't wait to get that introduction. I'm going to keep that.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, of course, yes, you will get a copy of the recording. And so, Dennis, before I jump into my questions, could you just give us a 2 or 3 minute, backstory? I just kind of, gave the real top of the waves on the things that you have done with your 23 years of military experience, specifically with the Air Force. But could you just kind of tell us what that was like, and then bring us up to what had you choose to be a coach?
Yeah, my Air Force career. Coincidentally, May 1st, yesterday, was my final, no kidding, on my retirement paperwork. So yesterday, I've been retired for 9 years.
Wow.
From active duty. I can't believe it's been that long. My 23 years, the things that I did in my career, I spent the first 9 years of my career in supply. Translation for everybody outside of the military: the Amazon delivery driver. That's what I did. Amazon warehouse, delivery, pulling parts on it. But at about 8 years in, I transitioned into basically what's consulting. In the Air Force, it's called manpower. We would call it consulting. And my job there was, I learned early on strategically, the career field I was in was getting, losing bodies. We were getting cut, layoffs, as we would say out on the outside. Well, this manpower was the ones who were doing all the cutting and layoffs. And I said, well, you know what? It's much better to be on the cutting side, the cutter, than being the cut-e.
Yeah.
And I jumped right into that, but it allowed me to learn. I had to learn every job in the Air Force. And I had to standardize those jobs in the Air Force. And I had to problem solve for those jobs. So there was always something new, something challenging. And I was a middleman, which is perfect for me as a coach. I'm getting yelled at by people. I'm getting yelled at by bosses in the field. I'm getting yelled at by colonels at the Pentagon and generals, because I can't give them what they want, or I got to pick one or the other based off of policy and all that. So it was a natural fit for me moving forward. The skill set of listening, empathy, problem solving, but also being able to step out, practice that emotional intelligence, self-management, step out and control my emotions, because it's not personal. It's not directed at me. It's just, they're not getting what they want. My job is to help them get it, or if I can't get it, leverage what they have to the best of their ability. And leading into retiring from the Air Force, I really loved the leadership and the people and pouring into them. I was always the person that people came to that either they had a problem person and this was their last chance before they were going to get kicked out. They got to work for me and they never got kicked out.
Okay.
Or I was that person that was going around the organization, making sure everybody's okay. How are you doing? How can I help you? Building that camaraderie and connecting the links with everybody in the organization. That was just harmonizing and creating unity. That was my heartbeat. And all of that leading into helping people that I worked with directly, coaching them to promotion, to getting the most out of them, or finding out where they wanted to be when they got out and put them into position to get there.
That's great. So, which is like a perfect segue to how can you now help our audience translate what you've just said? Your military background that influenced your approach. How can you now help them to translate that or contextualize that into entrepreneurship?
Well, entrepreneurs, what was so great, I had to learn everything about everybody. Entrepreneurs are the same way. They've got to learn everything about everybody and business. And they are, in most cases, in one sense, a single point of failure, because if they don't figure it out, it's not going to get done.
Right.
And I had to deal with a lot of that. And the other part is they had to have a broad range of knowledge in a lot of areas, but they also had to learn how to build people skills. Now, what I picked up in my military career was they don't teach us people skills. They teach us follower skills in general. They teach us how to follow. It's a very rank structured, heavy process. Whoever has the most stars, bars, and stripes, if you do the flip game, you do this, whoever has the highest rank is the winner. They're the leader.
That's right.
And you have to follow.
All day, every day.
That's right. But you as the entrepreneur, you can't play the flip game. You are the flip game.
You are it.
And sometimes you've got to figure it out. In the military, there are times when you have to figure it out. There is no, I can't ask you. It's solve the problem. It's the same way with entrepreneurs. So you've got to be ready. And how do you get ready? You got to start networking. Who are the people I need to know? Who's in my who network? Who can I reach out to? Who can I connect with? Or at least if I can't get the answer I'm looking for, we're all, quote, 6 degrees separated from Kevin Bacon, right? Well, then ask that next person, hey, can you get me to Kevin Bacon? Can you get me the answer or the connection I need to get what I need? The military taught me not to overthink it, just ask.
Wow.
If you've got to solve the problem, go ask. Find somebody, solve the problem, take the initiative, which is huge in leadership. Entrepreneurship, if you don't take the initiative, you're left behind in a heartbeat.
That is so true. And so are your people if you have employees, and so is your community if you fail to support them in the way that they need or give them the goods and services that they need. Yeah, absolutely. So that really is almost like a win-lose-sum game.
Right. And in the military too, if I don't solve the problem, we could lose the war. Yeah. We're talking mission failure. Mission failure is not an option. No. And so having that pressure to, I've got to get this answer. The entrepreneur feels the same way. If I don't get this answer, I don't pay my bills. I can't pay my payroll. There's a lot of, we close shop or fill in all of those fears that we all face. But there's also that, you know what, if I initiate, good things come to me when I initiate. And initiators are like the squeaky wheel. They get the grease.
They do.
If you wait for the answer, you're probably not going to get it. But if you initiate getting the answer, and you're going to be rewarded for being somebody that has a sense of urgency. You have initiative. You have drive. you're focused. That gets rewarded as an entrepreneur as well as in the military.
That is so true, Dennis. So when we talked earlier, you used this term that just really caught my eye because I had one nephew that was Air Force, but everybody else in the family was Army. And so, but you have this innovative coaching style or methodology called the airstrike.
Mm-hmm.
And so could you explain what that is, first of all, and then how it addresses specific needs and challenges as it can be applied to entrepreneurs?
Sure. An airstrike is this. So for your Army relatives, they're boots on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got, let's just assume, enemies around them. They can't make any movement. They get on. They call the commander. Hey, we need an airstrike. We need there's tanks in front of us or whatever else. We need to call in an airstrike, and they'll give the coordinates. Here come the jets. Bang. They call it an airstrike, or it's a missile or whatever else. Same thing in coaching. Same concept. It's a pinpointed session. One session pinpointed specifically in the area that you need when you need it. And how does that serve entrepreneurs? Well, entrepreneurs are already heavily stressed because they have to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably many of us are struggling financially to do that. We would love to have that 1 year high ticket coaching program with that John Maxwell or Tony Robbins or fill in the blank. We would love to be in those rooms, but not everybody can get in those rooms right away.
Right.
Or the funding isn't even there to commit to a 9-session, 6-session fill in the blank that all the coaches have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They can do one session.
Mm-hmm.
And the airstrike is that one session. We're going to get laser focus in the area that you need to work on, and we'll work on that area. And I promise you'll get clarity. I promise you will, the gap from where you are to where you want to be will close in that time. And there's no further commitment beyond that one strike, that one laser strike to get you where you want to go, get you that awareness, solve that problem. We'll think it through. We'll talk it through. We'll brainstorm it through. We'll work through. And for the seasoned entrepreneur, they also maybe they don't want the commitment either. They've been in the commitment. They're at a point where momentum is slowed down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They just need one session to pick up the momentum. Boom, call in the airstrike. Let's get that momentum going again. Boom, there they go. Just recently did one of those sessions. Spent an hour and a half with an individual. They got what they needed. In fact, they signed up for additional coaching with me, called me back and said, you know what? You helped me so much in that session that I don't need the other sessions, but I want to pay you extra for that time that we have. Bang.
Well, you see, and that's just it. That's one of the things that I personally just love about coaching, and whether it's that one session or it's that 15-minute, I just need to be able to get out of my own way, and I can't do it by myself.
Yes, absolutely.
To know that you have someone kind of like on speed dial, that you can get that clarity from, that can help you to move the dust, so that you can see clearly, almost
exactly
felt like singing that song. I can see clearly. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to lose my day.
My grandkid, you sound a lot better than me. My grandkids, when I start singing, they're pops, stop. Please stop. They start yelling, Granny, tell Pops to stop, even though he's having fun. Tell him to stop, please.
Oh, I know. Well, just in case you didn't know, I like having fun on my show. So
me too. We could call in an airstrike, but you know what? We can have some fun too.
Absolutely. And so, one of the other things that I thought that was rather interesting, in our pre-talk, And yes, for our listening audience, I do talk with my guests before we actually get on air, because I always want to get the tea, you know, before it gets given to you. So anyway, one of the things that we did talk about, Dennis, was the importance of, and this almost sounds a little morbid, but writing your own eulogy. Talk to us about that.
Yes, that does sound a little morbid, but let's look at it from the positive side. Everybody's talking about their legacy. How do I want to be remembered?
Mm-hmm.
How will I be remembered? Well, the idea of writing your eulogy is write it down. Write out how you want to be remembered. Write down. I got mine right here. Here's mine. Mine is right here. And I read it every day. And when you write it out and you get clarity on it and you see it, here's the deal. When you know how you want to be remembered, guess what? Now you've got clarity on the direction of your life. You don't need to get your cell phone and type in, Siri and MapQuest and all those things. That's your end destination. That's how you want to be remembered. Now you backpedal it to today. And what am I doing today to live this out?
Yes.
And live it out and walk it out every single day. And this is also your decision tool. It's a decision tool for you when you're stuck at a fork in the road. Which one do I take? Well, which one is in alignment with how I want to be remembered? The direction I want to go in my life, my business, with my family. Fill in the blank. And I love this tool. And how do you know if you're walking it out? People will tell you. Keywords and phrases that are in this right here. People tell me all the time and have never heard what this is. Mm-hmm. They'll say it. They're like Blue's Clues. They leave the little blue paw print right up in front of me when they say that word, and it tells me I am fulfilling the requirements, how I want to be remembered, and I'm impacting lives the way that I want to impact lives, and I'm to keep doing consistently what I'm doing because I'm going in the right direction.
Well, see, what I really like about what you said, Dennis, is that, it's not just about goal setting, because there's so much, and not that, look, I'm not trying to poo-poo goal setting. No. But what you are talking about is really a life direction. It's really making sure that how you want to be remembered is how you walk out your life. And you won't know that if you're just doing the goals. It's a much bigger piece. Am I right on that?
100%. It's, most people define success with like goal setting or achievement. I was an achievement nut. Winning meant everything to me. It was my core identity growing up. And what this does is it takes success to a different level, because you can be successful in goal setting and everything else and absolutely fail everywhere else. And then your eulogy, the eulogy that is remembered by everyone else, isn't the success you achieved. It's what happened after that.
Yeah.
And so what I find is if you're living out your eulogy, you're going to be successful elsewhere, because this is all about living that enriched life.
That, and that is true. And, I don't know if it's just the stage of life that I'm in right now or what, but I even hear like some younger people, like today I had to go to see, a travel doc because I'm going to be going on a trip soon. And, she was talking about, like, she's been to 37 countries already, and she just has a 4-month-old. And I was like, wow, she says, well, I hope to get back out there again. I said, well, she's so young until she wouldn't even really know the difference unless, you're not there or your husband is not there, so, don't put it off if that's something that you really, really want to do, because that whole travel and the experiences behind that are the things that enriches her life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I hear you talking about when you say, write your own eulogy, because now you actually will be pointed in the direction that you want your life to go intentionally.
Exactly. Why leave it up to chance? You've already written it up, and if you live out what you've written up, you can just hand your card to everybody else. They're going to say, "Oh, this is perfect. That's exactly how." There you go. They'll confirm it.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I always like to ask my guests is about collaboration and community. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you could not have made 23 years in the military without some collaboration, and there's definitely a community inside of the Air Force. But what about as an entrepreneur? So could you share a real compelling maybe example of how you've leveraged collaboration to foster not only growth in your business,
Mm-hmm.
but also creating meaningful impact in your communities?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love that. Two come to mind, and they both involve schools. As a matter of fact,
Mhm.
charter schools. The first one is I met one of my best friends from my Air Force days. We retired about a year apart from each other. We live real close. Uh, she called me one night. I hadn't heard from her in months. She said, "Hey, I need you to come over to the house." I go, "Why?" "Well, my brother-in-law's here. I want you to meet him." Okay. I think there's something there. So we get together and we start talking,
Mhm.
and there is instant connect. He's sharing his vision, and I'm listening. And as we're talking, he's like, "You're the perfect person that I need for what I'm doing." So if we get to know each other, we meet all the time. In fact, I had coffee with him today. Um, he reaches out to me and says, "Hey, there's a charter school system here, and you know what, they need help, and I think you're the right person. I want to bring you and another friend in. We're going to come together. We're going to do a 3-day workshop and help them. We're going to collaborate together with his program management experience, my consulting background in leadership. The other person had run franchises, multiple franchises and systems, and we got together because the school system was stuck at the leadership level. So we went
As
in.
are many. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. But the funny thing is, this was a hey, can you come this weekend? I didn't know the other person, and I'd only just met this one. We drove in the car for hours to this place. What's our plan? I don't know. He says, "You know what? Let's talk to him and the plan will come out." I agreed with him, but I'm a person of faith, and intuition is one of my strengths. So
Mm.
I'm really good at, and military trained me here also. Semper Gumby, always flexible. That's a term I picked up in my career. I said, I'm flexible. So whatever needs to happen, we'll make it work. Facilitation is one of my skill sets
Mhm.
that I love. It's one of my strengths. So we'll just make it work. And over the course of those 3 days, not only did they get clarity and unlocked, but they said, "We want you to come back. Now we want you to do it for our superintendents and our principals too." This was 10 campuses.
Wow.
Brought them in. We did the same thing for 3 days. Did what we did in the beginning, we did with them. We got them all on the same page because everybody was in the room. I came one more time after that. We did the same thing, just make sure everything's flowing. Haven't back. That's 5 years ago. They're serving 3,700 students right now. They're moving forward. I talked to my friend. I said, "Yeah, I talk to them all the time, and they still talk about what we did there." And you know how much we did it for?
Mm.
Zero, zero. They brought us up. They housed us, of course, and meals. But other than that, we collaborated. We didn't know each other. We worked together, and we helped solve that problem. And that school system is thriving to this day. The second is same person. We decided. I was a part of a board to create a charter school here where I'm at in San Antonio.
Mhm.
That's still in the works. We worked together, got a team together, got it started, moved it forward in the process. At this point, I realized where I'm at as the president of the board, I can't get it to the finish line. My skill set and who I am and where I am, I knew it. And so we talked after we got to a certain point, and then I exited out. I said, hey, I know who the right person is. We talked about it and said, hey, here you go. You're the one to take this through, not me. And I know it, and I think you know it too. I'll give you let you spend a few days. Boom. I've stepped out. They're moving forward, and we're helping the community. We're getting it started. It's a long process. There's a lot to do, but we got it jump started. And I'm so excited to be a part of that. And how much I make? Zero. I can't get paid. That's against the law here in Texas for a board member to be paid. So,
right. Oh, okay.
But collaborating together as a group and seeing that come together and watching people who were initially, I don't know, and watching them come together and get excited and moving it forward, because the whole focus is on educating the kids, helping kids discover who they are, creating that next generation of leaders, and turn the tables in the right direction, leadership wise.
As you were talking, I want to just take this conversation just to, I won't say another level, but in just a slightly different direction. As far as when you're talking about collaborating and community, something you said was, in the second scenario, where you were, the board member, and that you knew that you could take it this far, but somebody else really needed to take it to the next level. What can you see as a lesson for seasoned entrepreneurs? They've started the company perhaps, and they've taken the company to a level, successful level, but to get to the next level, they may need to step aside. What guidance or that can you give us on that, just based on that particular scenario?
Deep down inside, for me, my intuition, my reflection, it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow to say that. You have to have humility. If it's about me and being a position, a title, getting it to a certain point, if that's more important than the overall vision and what, in this case, a school represents, I'm in it for the wrong reason. For the entrepreneur, if you take it to a point and you realize you need help in order to really, if your vision for that is big enough, then your humility is more important than anything else. Your self-awareness, your humility, and asking for help is critical, or stepping out completely to let the right person lead it. You have to swallow your pride in one sense, but celebrate the journey. You learned something. You got it started. Not everybody that starts something gets to finish it, especially in the business world, entrepreneurial world, big visions. You create it to bring in the right people to take it to the next level. Absolutely. And they bring it to the next level, and eventually it starts. And guess what? You all celebrate. Not everybody can start it, and not everybody can finish it. Find your place in the process and plug in, but also be aware when it's time for you to plug out.
Oh, I really love that. And I love that, that first of all, like, that awareness came up in me, and I was like, there are a lot of businesses, and I'm thinking about, like family-owned businesses, in which, because that's happening a lot today, meaning in 2024 and this part of our century,
Mhm.
As more and more people, they're looking to either sell their business, or they're kind of tired, or they would love to be able to not have to work it all the time. There is some planning that needs to be done. And like you said, swallow your pride and start to get some help. Succession planning right now, um, among baby boomers, echo boomers, and those generations, is really, really tough.
Mhm.
They're not doing what they need to do, and you've had so much experience, and you wouldn't probably call it succession planning, but you called it manpower. And helping people to move up, to gain the additional experiences that they need. And that was the thing that just kind of resonated with me. I know it's kind of a little bit off topic, but it was like, oh
No.
my goodness.
It's so important because it's all about trust. I think part of the problem is we're taught those family businesses. Who do I trust? And if they haven't built up that network of people they trust, it's hard to turn that over to somebody else. But I also know if I keep doing the same thing, knowing that I have reached my lid,
Yes.
it's not going to go any further. In fact, it's going to go backwards. That's the last thing that I want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, all of what you've just said, just kind of the word that just kind of flashes in my mind is servant leadership. That's what Dennis LaRue seems to be all about. Even during those times when you were in the military and you were saying like winning was the only game. I know it was still serving people that was
Mhm.
fundamental, to your leadership and to effective leadership in general. So, how do you integrate servant leadership principles into your coaching approach? And what impact do you believe that it would have on urban entrepreneurs who are striving to succeed?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's so I think in order for me to answer, I got to define to you what I think servant leadership
Okay.
is. And it's in 3 sentences. The first sentence is servant leaders love you for who you are.
Mm.
The second sentence is servant leaders meet you where you are. And then the last sentence is that servant leaders don't leave you where you are.
Oh, that is so good. You want to repeat that one again? I got to take a note on that one.
Yeah, servant leaders meet you where you are, love you for who you are, but they don't leave you where you are.
Oh, that is so good. That is so, look, I know my people are going to put that one in a meme or something.
Yeah, that is really that's what it comes down to. So when you unpack that definition, it answers the question. Because servant leaders first within coaching, I got to meet you where you are. So what does that mean? I gotta get to know you. I gotta listen. I gotta ask questions. I need. I can't be here as a leader and you're down here and help you and say, hey, come on up here. You can't. You can't go where you've never been. So I've got to come down and meet you where you are. And let's have a conversation. Hopefully I've been where you've been, but not necessarily.
Mhm.
Meet you where you are. Understand where you're at, your situation, tell me what's happened as an entrepreneur. What's happening? You know what? I'm burning candles on both ends. Well, let's talk about that. I know what that's like. I did that in my military career. To the point where I had walking pneumonia 3 separate times in a 1.5 year period.
No.
Yes, it was brutal. So I had to get help so that wouldn't happen. So coming down and meeting them where they are, but then not only meet them where they are, I gotta love them for who they are. Whoever they are, I love them and I recognize them for who they are, where they are. that is a non-negotiable, because as a coach, trust and relationship is critical. You can't lead anybody if they don't trust you and they sense that you don't care about them. Yeah. You can lead them by doing the, I'll flip you for it. Do what I say or you're fired. Do what I say or I'm going to do this. That only works for so long. People don't stay that long. As a leader, you got to come down, meet them where they are. They have to know that it's a safe space. They can share what they need to share, work through what they need to work through, knowing there's no non-attribution. It's not going to come back to bite them because of what you said, or you're going to go blab it off to somebody else or whatever as a coach. But then you can be a great servant leader just in those two areas right there. Mm-hmm. But the next one is a transformational servant leader. They don't leave you where you are. When you spend time with that transformational servant leader, your spider sense is tingling. It's like clarity. It's like the Matrix. And when all of the guns start showing like this, that's exactly what's happened in that moment. And that person is just inside knowing, I know what to do next. I know. In one sense, I remember reading in the Bible after, when Jesus rose and the two people were walking together on the road to Emmaus, they're talking to each other. And Jesus shows up and, they're wondering, who is this guy? He doesn't know what's going on. But Jesus starts talking to him. And they get to a certain point, and he stops. He says, no, come with us, come with us. And when he finally reveals himself and leaves, both of them said, oh my goodness, didn't our hearts burn within us when he was sharing with us the word? That's exactly what a transformational servant leader does. The person their hearts are burning with them. They're ignited. They're passionate. They're on fire. They've got clarity. They know their next steps. They walk away saying, I've got direction. I've got purpose. I know what I'm supposed to do next. Or at the bare minimum, if they don't, what they do have is, I'm encouraged. I got it. I went to the emergency room and I got some CPR. I got an IV bag. I got rehydrated again. I'm ready to at least move forward in the journey again.
Yes. Oh, I love your three line definition of a servant leader. That's a keeper. That definitely is a keeper. I'm gonna wrote it down.
That's my heartbeat. That really is in everything I do. And it ties into how I want to be remembered, how I'm wired, my strengths and all that. That's my DNA.
Yes. Well, I tell you, this has been just such a wonderful experience, having you on the Urban Entrepreneur Show, Dennis. Before we wrap up, I just want to give you a couple of minutes that, for you to share, maybe 3 takeaways that you would like to leave our audience with.
Great. 3 takeaways. I think we'll start with, first off, you got to know yourself, where you are in your entrepreneurial journey. Do what you can with what you can, but start finding the people who can help you in areas you're not strengthened in. It's not your gift. You can learn it. If it's a skill, you can learn it. But if you can delegate that skill and it frees you up to do what you were born to do, then you've got to make that trade-off. 2, get coaching. There is all kinds of different coaches out there, different packages, different systems, different ways. Find one that can invest in you where you are. If you want Tony Robbins, if you can afford it, go get him. But if you can't, get the best that you can afford now. Mm-hmm. Because you'll go further, farther, faster. And then 3rd, be a servant leader, because the coach you're going to get is going to meet you where you are. A great coach will meet you where you are, love you for who you are, and they won't leave you where you are. Look for that coach, but also be that leader in other people's lives.
Yes. Dennis, this has been so good. I just love this. I think that's one of the things that I enjoy is talking to entrepreneurs who are also servant leaders, who don't mind giving of themselves, and sharing their knowledge and their wisdom, strategies, and smiles and laughter, with other entrepreneurs, because everyone is not in the same place, and just a word from one other person, can really just make a difference. And I know the definition of a servant leader that you gave, and also just your last 3 points, if nothing else, that those words will definitely resonate with some entrepreneurs who are listening now or who will listen in the future. So I just want to thank you so much, my friend, for being a guest on the Urban Entrepreneur Show this evening.
Anna, thank you so much for having me. I have enjoyed these conversations, and I hope I've served your audience well. And I just pray blessings over you and all those that hear it. And may that touch your heart, may it burn within you, and may it spark that next level that you're supposed to be, and open the doors for the people you're supposed to impact.
That's wonderful. Well, wow. Well, this has been a wonderful, wonderful just a wonderful time spending here with you tonight. And so, my friends, as we wrap up this exciting episode of the Urban Entrepreneur Show, again, I just want to thank my fabulous guest, Coach Dennis LaRue. He truly is a servant leader, and I just enjoy. I hope you enjoyed as much the time that we've spent together, and that our audience will really be blessed by. And again, we just want to thank all of our audience, because let's face it, without you week after week, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. Because, our passion is really for entrepreneurship, but especially for the urban entrepreneurs who are in cities all over the globe. It's the thing that really drives us. And we're just thrilled to have both Dennis and you, our listening and viewing audience. So today's show was brought to you by your sponsor, Thrive Leadership Institute, a go-to source for coaching, training, and other resources that will supercharge your professional and personal growth. You can discover more about Thrive Leadership Institute by going to thriveleadershipinstitute.com. And Dennis, if you could please give us your how people can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. You can reach me at enrichedleaders.com. It's my new website. The landing page is there, and that's where you can schedule some coaching sessions. Even in my book that's right behind me that I helped co-author is there. You can get a copy of it right there. So thank you for allowing me to share that.
Just spell that for me, just so that enriched,
ENRICHED, leaders, one word, .com.
Okay, I just want to make sure we add that right in here on the show page, so that it's part of the video and people can go back and watch it, and be able to connect with you. And I can't leave this show tonight without inviting any entrepreneur who has an amazing story to tell, or ideas that you want to share with existing entrepreneurs. Come and join us by being a guest on the Urban Entrepreneur Show. We're all about sharing wisdom and strategies that inspire. So don't hesitate to reach out to us By going to the urbanentrepreneurshow.com, you'll be able to find out more information about the show and if you want to sign up. So that ends again another episode of the Urban Entrepreneur Show. We just want to once again thank our guest, Coach Dennis LaRue, for spending time with us today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right then. And so until the next time, bye-bye for now.